Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our special Tobago event tonight. So come on in. Yeah, welcome, everybody. Welcome to our Tobago event. I hope you've all got a rum punch in hand. I haven't yet, but I'm sure that can be arranged at some point this evening. So welcome. Come on in. And do say hello in the chat box. And let us know you're here. We'll be going properly live in a couple of minutes. So make yourself comfortable. Welcome if you're just joining us to this event. We'll be kicking off in a couple of minutes. And hi, Chris from Bedford. Welcome this evening. And we got somebody from Norwich, Yorkshire Dales. Oh, how beautiful. Hello, Debbie, Sheila. Oh, lots of people coming in now. Lincoln, Edinburgh, from all over. I'm from Woking, Shrewsbury. Somebody else from Norwich. Maidstone, Glasgow, the paradise of Glasgow, yes. Brighton, Canterbury, Reading, Yorkshire. See, it's so exotic. Somebody from Belgium, welcome. St Albans, oh, somebody saying they've made their cocoa tea already. No rum punch, but a glass of wine. Fair enough. Hello, Guildford, from Bath, Windsor. Welcome, Windsor. I'm in Windsor as well. And we've got definitely people with rum punches. If you have got a rum punch, do let us know. Somebody, Ronald, joining us from Vancouver Island. We've got Acton, Chippenham, Cumbria, the granite city of Aberdeen. Dorcas Ripton. Oh, gosh. Arizona, welcome. And Thousand Oaks, USA. I don't know where Thousand Oaks is. What an exotic crowd. And Bristol, Colchester. Sally and Tony are having a cocktail in Simmons Yacht, a very beautiful part of the UK. And Sheila's joining us with her rum punch. Good. Rum and pineapple. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, so bonus points to anybody who's got a rum punch in hand. So dark and wet Rochester. Oh, sorry, it's wet. But we're going to be cheered up by lots of sunshine, hopefully, tonight. Banbury, London, so Torbay, yes, so people joining us from all over. Linda in Chippenham, Halifax, welcome. Mike from tropical Henley-on-Thames. Wasn't that tropical last time I was there? Val's joining us with a gin and tonic. Not quite a rum punch, but at least you're getting into the spirit in more way than one. So Louise from, somebody else from Rum Punch. And cocoa tea. Well done, anybody who's got cocoa tea as well. Yes, because we did put some people obviously got the kits if they applied really early. Sarah Griffiths has got a cheeky vino on the go. Oh, that's what I'm missing. I did this badly. I didn't sort myself out before I went live. Hello from Somerset to Tony and somebody from Newcastle upon Line. Right. Well, I think I'm very jealous of all the people who have got rum punches or cocoa teas or wines. Oh, Tobago cocktail. Dave Hawthorne says he's got. Good. Everybody's getting into the mood, which is great. So welcome, everyone. So, yes, I'm Lynn Hughes, and I'm the founding editor of Wanderlust. And I'm really looking forward to this evening because I've got a confession to make. I have never been to Tobago, and that's shocking. And I don't know why not. It's just the way it's happened. So I think I was thrilled as everybody about tonight and wanting to learn about it. So I'm really intrigued, though, how many of you watching have been to Tobago. So we're going to do a very quick poll. So let us know whether you've been or not. And we'll see how many people have been. So, yes, have you been to Tobago or not? Or is it actually on your travel list? If you could quickly fill out the poll. I saw somebody had got a peppermint tea in hand. Not quite the same as Rum Punch, but why not? Right. Apologies if the poll, for whatever reason, didn't seem to load straight away. But, yeah, we're getting the answers now. So that's great. And, yeah, I think I'm in the majority because a lot of people saying not yet, but also a lot of people say it's on their travel list. So that's really good. So I think, yeah, we all want to learn about it tonight. So in a few minutes, I'll introduce you to our two special guests this evening who will be answering all your questions on Wonderful Tobago. Just quickly to say, though, if any of you have connection issues, because we're aware that early evening, a lot of people start going onto Netflix and everything. So if you start having connection issues or it freezes, either click on the reconnect button or refresh the page. And don't fret if you do miss something or a video freezes, anything like that, because we do send out a link to a recording of the evening in a few days' time. So that means you can always play it again in your own time. And we'll also mention in there, in that follow-up email, some of the places that we talked about this evening. So don't panic. And do keep an eye on the chat box. Do ask your questions during the evening. And you'll find that there will probably be people in there from Tobago Tourist Board as well. So I know Sangeeta and Stephen, I think, from Tobago Tourism are going to be in there. Right. So anyway, now to introduce our special guests. So we are joined from Tobago by Sheena Devines. So hi, Sheena.
Hi.
And I love the sound of that's a cock in the background, isn't it?
Yeah, correct.
a cockerel crowing. So yeah, just to show that, yeah, Sheena isn't sitting in London. No, she is out there. And in fact, just before we went live, you said you'd got some parakeets in your garden.
Parakeets right behind me, so we should see them, flying back and forth every so often.
I'm so jealous. So Sheena's the marketing coordinator of the Tobago Tourism Agency, and with over 10 years of experience in travel and tourism. And Sheena, of course, is passionate about Tobago and always finding new ways to discover the undiscovered gems of her home. And then we're also joined by Nadine Rankin. Now, Nadine, are you in Tobago?
No, I'm in Leatherhead.
Not quite the same, but I do love your back image. Now, I only found out just before we went live that the back image. Do people watching recognise that silhouette? You see the lovely silhouette and the hair behind. Yes, I think if you compare it to Sheena, gosh, Sheena, how glamorous! I mean, gosh, to be on Tobago's marketing and everything, that's quite something. That's tremendous. I love that backdrop. So Nadine's the CEO of AMG, which is the company which represents Tobago in the UK. And she first travelled to the island in 1991 when she was working for Kuoni. And she's been visiting regularly ever since. And she's passionate about ensuring that tourism reaches and benefits as many local people and communities as possible, which I know is very much the way that we all feel as well. And so how it's going to work over the next hour or so, excuse me, I've got a bit of frog in my throat because I don't have my rum punch yet. How it's going to work is rather than have an actual talk, what we're going to do is we're going to see several videos about Tobago, and in between I'll be asking Sheena and Nadine a few questions. And as I say, do feel free to ask questions anyway in the chat box. There will be representatives of Tobago in there. And following those videos, our final video will actually be a slightly longer one, which will be a demo of how to make cocoa tea, which is, of course, is a Tobago speciality, and also how to make what looks like a very powerful cocktail. I thought I better not make that before the event, or wouldn't be able to talk. So looking forward to seeing that again. Do stick around after that, because we'll then have a proper Q&A where we'll be able to answer the questions as well that have been coming in through the chat box. So we'll try and get through everything you're asking. And so I think without further ado, we're probably ready for our first video, which is actually going to be an official welcome. But before anybody rolls their eyes and think, oh, what is this? This is from the CEO of Tobago Tourism, Louis Lewis. But as you'll see, he's in a rather unusual spot to make his introduction.
Welcome to Unspoiled, Untouched and Undiscovered Tobago. Right now we are standing in the middle of the Island Pool, which is one of the most attractive natural phenomena within the Caribbean, where we are standing a couple kilometers away from the shoreline and we are in knee-high water. This is an example of the offerings that we have for you for the next hour. We've been working very hard for your safe return. We are one of the first islands in the Caribbean to receive the World Travel and Tourism Council Safe Stamp as a destination. We continue to ensure that your visit will be safe. While our borders have remained closed, we've been making great headway towards our greening projects. For instance, we've attained Blue Flag pilot status for 3 of our beaches, including Kings Bay, where we are currently at. We've also been working very hard towards Green Key certification for a number of our tourism establishments and the accommodation properties. And we have been so proud to receive the UNESCO designation of Man in the Biosphere, which allows us to improve the livelihoods of our communities while remaining very true to sustainable development. We've been working closely with our partners, communities, the NGOs, the investing community, as well as the Chamber of Commerce, to ensure that we implement some sustainable initiatives so that Tobago will remain pristine for a very long time. We want to hold on to that title of being untouched, unspoiled, and undiscovered. And we are working very closely on the initiatives both on land and in the water as well, so that we are covering both perspectives, and Tobago will offer you this beyond ordinary experience. So with that said, sit back, relax, and enjoy as we take you to Tobago.
That was amazing to be standing in the sea like that. How incredible. So, Sheena, how do you actually get to that spot where Louis was? I mean, do you have to swim out there? Do you wade out there? What do you do?
You have to take a boat. So there are several boats that leave from Buku or Pigeon Point or Stobie, and they take you to that area. It's like the size of 3 football fields. They're like chickens in the background. It's definitely a sight to behold, because besides in Island Pool, you can snorkel because the Buku Reef is right on the perimeter of that location. So it's an extremely diverse area for any sort of water sports and, indulging with the water.
Yeah. Oh, well, straight away. I mean, that's me sold. I just want to go and stand there.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's lots of things we could pick up on with what Louis said, but one of the things he mentioned was the Safe Travels, the WTTC Safe Travels certification. Very briefly, what does that mean?
Well, what we did, we worked with our stakeholders from all sectors within the tourism industry. So accommodation, transportation, tour guides to come up with guidelines for safety during travel during the pandemic. And we created a manual as a result of that. And this manual was endorsed by World Travel and Tourism Council. And we were one of the first islands in the Caribbean to have this endorsement. And we have been used as an example globally for working with our stakeholders to come up with guidelines for, protocols relating to the pandemic.
Yeah. Oh, terrific. That's really reassuring. So, Nadine, obviously you have visited so many times. So how big is the island? I mean, what sort of size is it? Can't get my head around that.
Well, it's approximately 25 miles long and about 7 miles wide. And just to give you some context, it's about, from a square miles point of view, it's about the same size as the Isle of Wight. So it's not very big at all.
No, it isn't. But no doubt crammed with a lot, as I'm sure we're going to see. And I see somebody has already asked about getting there, if there's any direct flights. So, Nadine, how do we get there?
Oh, very, very easily. I mean, obviously, right now, not possible. But when things get back to normal, we do have direct flights with British Airways and Virgin. So British Airways from Gatwick and Virgin now, or once they start flying again from Heathrow, and both twice a week during the winter. And then BA stays at twice a week during the summer, and Virgin goes to once a week during the summer.
Oh, okay. Brilliant. So at least there's plenty of flights. Once they start again, I guess we've got no idea yet when that will be. No. I know. Oh, but it feels like things are going to open soon, doesn't it? So we're all very optimistic, I think. And so that's getting there. Sheena, what about getting around once somebody's okay? So it's about the size of the Isle of Wight, which I won't be much help to you, but is it taxis? Is it public transport? You know, how easy is it?
We have both. I would advise once you're a visitor to really use a taxi or a tour guide to take you around the island for the first few days. And then you can explore on your own because, even as a driver myself, I like to be driven because you get to notice all these sights and attractions and all the areas that you may have passed when you're driving yourself. In addition to that, they can introduce you to locals because Tobago is so small and intimate. You can find all the hidden gems, know what to do, what not to do. So I would always advise to use a taxi or a tour guide. We have public transportation. We have buses that go around the island, and there's a schedule for that. We're online now, so you can actually see the schedule and know the cost of tickets to get to each village or community. And then we have route taxis, so you can actually hire a taxi at specific stands. So in the city of Scarborough, there are stands where you can wait for a taxi. We have a lot of Germans that come here and they love to backpack. I'm always, bouncing up on them. We have a phrasing bouncing up. You're always seeing them around the island and they will say, so how do you get here? How do you get here? And people always help you. They'll get you a ticket. They'll probably, suggest that you travel with this person. So yeah, it's very easy to navigate. We're very curvy. It's very hilly. So as I said, the best thing to do is to go with someone who is experienced so they can show you the terrain and then explore on your own.
Yeah. And do you drive on the left or the right?
On the left.
Ah, like the UK. Okay, that's handy. And somebody's asking, what's it like for cycling? Do people cycle? I mean, you said it was very hilly.
It is very hilly, but it's a good workout. My brother actually cycles. He recently completed a triathlon. So cycling is huge in Tobago. So we have quite a few mountain bike tour companies. And they do the mountain bike tours through the hills. We have quite a few hills, but they will take you through the terrain and it's tiered. So they'll have the intermediate to advanced. And then generally local cycles. So there'll be very early morning cycling groups or afternoon cycling groups you can get around if you want to do that. And then you can rent bicycles. So you can get bicycle rentals anywhere in the west of the island. There are quite a few bicycle rentals. I learned to ride a bike last year and I rented a bike. So it was easy for me to do that. Even the carriage for babies, they have that as well. So there are quite a few options to biking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Terrific. Well, I think as we've got several videos to go through, we'll look at a video next. And I think this one is a little video to do with the south of the island and Cocoa Reef Resort. Right. So as we saw on the map at the start of that was quite close to the airport, so quite close to where people fly in. And I believe that was Pigeon Point. So Sheena, is that a well-known destination?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the hubs in Tobago. Pigeon Point is known for its jetty. Besides the, white sandy beaches and all the activities, and that jetty is actually one of the most photographed jetties in the world. So it's really a hub for activities, weddings, just events. So really and truly, when you come into the island, you're sort of greeted with a buzz of activity, but it's still not overdeveloped. It's still very, laid back and relaxed. So that's the idea. We wanted to take you on that journey, because Pigeon Point and Store Bay and Prong Point is sort of the starting point to your, experience in Tobago. Yeah.
Wonderful. Sorry, I'm being distracted by, we're getting so many questions, but I'm going to leave some of those for later. And because I think it'd be nice to get onto the next video, which takes us up the West Coast. So Nadine, how would you kind of describe to one of us the Caribbean side of the island? Because it is the Caribbean side of the island, isn't it?
That's right, yes. And it's, so being the Caribbean side, it's the more sheltered side. And it's sort of, it does evolve. It's a long line of beautiful beaches and bays. Towards the south, that's the more developed area that we've just seen. And there are some hotels and resorts on some of the beaches, but even they're very, very spread out and few and far between. And then as you go on up the West Coast, you reach places like Englishman's Bay, which is completely undeveloped. And where Sheena is right now at Castara, I see we're getting a lot of love for Castara from some of the participants. So they're beaches that are occupied by villages, by local people, by fishermen, and so you really get the chance to get stuck into local life.
Fabulous. Okay, well, let's see a video of Unspoilt Beach or two, I think. Oh, well, I wish I looked like that when I do my morning yoga. What a place to do it. That looked incredible, and lovely to see the turtle as well, because as we'll be getting on to as well, obviously Tobago is known very much for its wildlife. So, Sheena, the turtles, for instance, when's the best time of year to see them? Can you see them year round, or is it certain times?
Yeah, it's usually January to September, but it peaks in March, June. So usually the turtles come up and lay their eggs, and then later in the year you see the hatchlings coming out. And that beach, Stonehaven Bay, is very much known for turtle watching. So a lot of the turtle conservation groups spend a lot of time making sure that the leatherbacks, because they're huge, they're like the size of a car, that they can come up and show and dig and lay their eggs. And sometimes we have to protect the hatchlings to get back out. So it's usually a labor of love from January to September.
Yeah, sounds incredible. Oh no, well that's me sold. I definitely want to go and see those. And we've had a couple of questions anyway about what is the best time to visit Tobago. I mean, what would you say? Is there any time not to visit?
I know, right? I think Nadine would be better to answer that because she has been here so many times. I would say there's always a good time.
Of course.
I agree. I agree. Sheena. You know, I mean, one of the reasons people ask about what's the best time of year to visit Tobago is because they're concerned about it's mainly about weather. And you know, it's important to note that Tobago is outside the hurricane belt. It's quite far south of the hurricane belt, so it doesn't get directly impacted during that sort of traditional June to November hurricane season. It does have a distinctive dry season and rainy season. And you know, there are different reasons why you might go there. So if you're a diver, then you probably are better off to go in the dry season, which is sort of December through to April, and that's when the water would be clearer. But you know, it's just such even keeled weather most of the time, year round. You'll get sharp showers and then they'll stop again. So year round. Anytime.
You mentioned diving and the water. We've had a few people already ask about snorkeling. And is it possible, for instance, to snorkel from the beaches?
Yeah, absolutely. Because of the terrain of Tobago, you realize we're very curvy. So you always have these rock formations on the extremities of the beaches. So you will always find, you know, amazing fishes and corals to snorkel, and you can work your way up. Some people actually do coastline snorkeling. So they'll hop from one beach to the other snorkeling. So yeah, Stonehaven Bay, that beach that we just showed you, is also very popular for snorkeling. Arnesville, the entire Caribbean coast, because it's calm and it's sheltered, is really great for snorkeling and diving as well.
Ah, wonderful. And this might be one for Nadine, because somebody's asking, is it all-inclusive resorts? And
no,
not, is it?
in a word. No. I mean, there are some. I mean, the largest hotel that we have on the island is not even 200 rooms, and the majority of them are not all-inclusive hotels. We have a huge number of small family-run guest houses and B&Bs, which we really, you know, like to promote, because that really, if you go and stay in one of those, then you get the chance to meet the owners because they're there on site, ask them questions, hear their stories of tales of their childhood, and find out the best places to go, and you know, unique bars and cafes on the island, places that they would go. So yeah, we've got everything from the hotels. That some of them, one or two of them, do offer all-inclusive packages, but that's not the general model of things in Tobago.
Terrific. Okay, well, let's go on to another video. So I think the next one, we're heading north of the island. So Nadine, how would you sum up the north?
Well, I mean, this is where you really do get into sort of the rainforested area. It's the oldest protected rainforest in the Western Hemisphere, and you'll see some of the lovely villages. Charlottesville is where you'll see the fishermen and be able to, you know, go and chat to them, interact with them. I see someone's asked about coral rehabilitation. We do have coral rehabilitation program there up in the north. So yes, Tobago's taking care of its natural resources. And then some of the drift diving, which again, some of the people watching have been talking about, it is world class. And you'll get all that up on the north side of the island.
Okay, let's take a look. So lovely to see some of the nature there and some of the wildlife, and yeah, some great birds there, Sheena. You know, it's not just the chickens in your garden and the parakeets.
Yeah.
I mean, I just spotted, and I'm no birder, but I spotted frigate birds, jacana, night heron, and so on. So look great. I presume that was the Main Ridge Forest Reserve, was it?
Yes, yeah. It
Yeah.
takes quite a bit of the island. So yeah, once you start to head north, you would be entering what we consider the reserve. But there's a specific hub. But yes, it's very forested once you start to enter into the north of the island.
Yeah, wonderful. And do many people then visit for the bird life, for the nature?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Particularly American market, we have a lot of birders coming from the UK and the United States. And, with the borders being closed, we have a lot of locals getting interested in birding and hiking and diving. So, we took a lot of this for granted. I was telling Nadine, since we've been in lockdown, the birds are literally on my doorstep. I have moths, hummingbirds. I saw ruby topaz right outside my window, which I've never seen before. Yeah, so it's been amazing. And because, I live on the outskirts of the forest, so I tend to see a lot of birds and wildlife. I have a good season armadillos coming right at my door.
Oh, armadillos!
Yeah. Yeah. So
if I come over, can you show me an armadillo?
Yeah. So, so it's very diverse. And, because they coexist together, it's just, and we've protected that area for the longest while. We're the oldest protected forest in the Western Hemisphere. So, the animals tend to thrive here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. I see somebody had even recommended a birding guide person. Yeah, Newton George.
Yes.
Yes,
he is very popular. Newton is amazing. He's very knowledgeable. So, yeah, anybody looking to know about birds, he definitely is the birding expert of experts on the island. And he's very familiar of every piece of terrain that covers birds in Tobago, he's very familiar with.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. So somebody, Margaret, is asking, is Tobago a nice island to go for our golden wedding? Because actually we saw a bit of romance in there, didn't we? And she does say that they like flora and fauna. So presumably it's going to be a resounding yes.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So that area we showed you guys is Blue Waters, and it's sort of a hub. It's a great location for anyone looking to do things as a couple, because you have diving. It's sort of diving in the east is very diverse, and then you have the birding right there. And then, of course, the property is very gorgeous. You saw the couple walking around, so you can get married or renew your vows, relax. You can go diving or snorkeling, you can go birding, you can go hiking, and you'll see some more of that today as well.
Yeah. Okay. So romance and nature mixed. What could be better? So, well, I'm not sure many of us are going to look as glamorous as the couple in that film did. But Nadine, do you find many people go there for, honeymoons, renewing vows, anniversaries?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, it's an incredibly romantic place, and with the amount of ability to the opportunity to convene with nature and reconnect with each other, because it's a simpler lifestyle, and also I think you get that immediate sense of belonging there, and it's really lovely to see people mentioning people like Newton George by name. When you get there, you very quickly start to recognize people in the street. If you're out and about walking around, if you go out at night, someone was asking about the party scene, you meet local people, and then you'll see them one night in a bar, and then the next night you'll see them at Sunday school at Baku Village, and they'll ask you, how was your excursion today? Did you have a nice time? I've got another one I could recommend to you. It's very, very personal. So I just think that's really fantastic place to just connect with yourselves and each other and the natural world. Very romantic.
Oh, sounds it. Somebody, Joy, is recommending Sunday school has to be done.
Yeah.
So okay, that's great. Great way to meet the locals. How wonderful!
That's not. By the way, that's not a religious experience. That is a street party.
Just, okay, good. Yeah, terrific. And going on to parties and thinking of food as well, because a few people have been asking about food. So very brief. I mean, we're going to see a video which will show some produce in a minute. But what kind of food is it?
I mean, we have everything from Italian to Mediterranean. There's quite an eclectic mix. But we do put our Tobago spin on it, and Tobagonians are very proud of, our cuisine. So you tend to get a lot of ground provisions and, baked produce in the morning. But yeah, it's extremely diverse. I'm recently vegan, and it's been an enjoyable process thus far because, it's not hard to find fresh produce and fresh and healthy, wholesome things to eat because we plant a lot of what we have, which is what you're going to see in a little bit.
Okay. Well, very quickly before we see the film then, Nadine, as somebody from the from the UK, where this time of year we're still eating Brussels sprouts, or some of us are. What's your big impression of the food there?
Oh, I think that the best thing is that it is so fresh, and the vegetables are organically grown. It's exotic. You get to taste things you've never tasted before. I've been on a trip with tour operators and travel agents where we've had vegans, and they've absolutely loved their experience, and eaten better than they've ever eaten before. Vegetarians, pescatarians, fresh seafood. It caters to sort of every taste, and it is really high quality and lovely and natural, organic.
Okay, well, let's see some of the food then. So really good organic produce there. Nadine, I mean, you mentioned agro-tourism to me before. Is that something that you see, growing?
Well, I mean, it's actually something that the Tobago Tourism Agency are going to be focusing on a lot this year, to really develop the concept of farm to table, to ensure that local growers and producers benefit from tourism, make sure that the hotels buy their supplies locally, and that people visiting Tobago enjoy fresh produce. And I think it's lovely for them to sort of remind themselves of how we find certain things exotic that they find very ordinary and day to day. So, you might be shocked to know that an island as small as the Isle of Wight produces 70 different types of mangoes. And so, certain times of the year, particularly sort of July, August, that's the main season for the mangoes to ripen. You're completely, inundated by them, and you can get avocados that the size of which we can only dream, and we wouldn't be able to afford to buy them from the supermarket here, and limes that you can just pick from the trees. So that's really something that they're focusing on, because they know that it appeals to us in especially coming from a country like ours, and at this time of the year as well.
Oh, we dream of mangoes, Sheena. Oh gosh. That's incredible. 70 types of mango. I didn't think that was possible. Oh, before we move on, I'm going to say somebody has sent a private message saying they've only just joined. Will there be a recording? Yes, there will be a recording of tonight. So don't worry. You will be able to catch up on all of this again, listen to it and watch those videos again. So absolutely. So, as we said, terrific produce. And of course, then we saw towards the end of that film, we saw the cocoa plant or cocoa plant, and which, of course, is sorry, my dog's trying to get my attention because she hasn't been for a walk. That's what happens in these live events now, isn't it? But yes, we saw the cocoa plant, and of course, Tobago has been famous before for its chocolate. And again, we sometimes see Tobago chocolate, and also I was very confused when I was heard that tonight we would find out about making cocoa tea. And in fact, some people were lucky enough, if they signed up quickly, to get sent a kit to make cocoa tea. So I received mine this afternoon, my cocoa ball, which is great. But Sheena, I'm easily confused. It's not tea, is it? When we talk about cocoa tea, it's cocoa's involved, but tea isn't.
Yeah, I mean, in Tobago, anything that is hot, in a cup, we call it tea. So, I mean, it could be just herbal tea. It can be Swiss Miss. It can be, anything. Once it's warm, it's tea. And that's just, a colloquial way of looking at it. We tend to call anything that is warm or hot tea.
Okay. That's cleared that one up. Yeah, I was very confused. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to, the next video is going to show, it's a slightly longer one. It's going to explain about the cocoa tea, show the making of it, and that will be followed by something showing how to make what looks like an incredibly powerful cocktail. And the recipes for both, there was a link to them that people should have had when they signed up, but also when we do our follow-up email, there will also be linked in again for those so that you can all have a go at making them at home. So sit back and enjoy, and then we'll be back for a much longer Q&A.
Hi, welcome to Tobago. My name is Carrion Job from the beautiful village of Lekoto, meaning the hills. Today, I intend to make for you some chocolate tea because you can't come to Tobago without drinking some chocolate tea. So welcome to Tobago. Come, let we go to Tobago. I have my chocolate here, as you can see. This is my grated chocolate. This is a whole one. Inside of this, you have bay leaf, you have spice, you have some nice ingredients. So when you put it to boil, all of this comes up, the flavors comes up in your water. So when you do make your tea, I tell you, it's delicious. So this is my grated cocoa. You will get the cocoa seeds, and of course you could eat it. You could suck it, it's a fruit, you could suck it. But the seeds are what you dry and you patch and you come up with cocoa ball. This is the star of all these ingredients, and this is the grated nutmeg here. All these are spices that you have to put in your water when you are boiling your chocolate tea. This is the cinnamon stick and spice, and you have to add these to your boiling water. And of course we have your evaporated milk and your condensed milk. All these, that makes a beautiful, delicious chocolate tea. Now I had my boiled water with a pinch of salt, and I add my grated cocoa to the boiled water. Now it has to boil. So I would leave it for about, let's say, 5 minutes, because we are not making a whole lot. So I'm gonna leave it for like 5 minutes and let my cocoa cook. So I'm gonna take a little bit of my nutmeg and of course a little bit of my spice, and I'm gonna put them inside the chocolate tea so that they can boil also. And I let it boil. So I'm going to add my milk to my tea. The aroma is just fascinating. So this is my condensed milk. When you use condensed milk, you don't need sugar because this is sweet in itself. and then you add your evaporated milk. So this is my evaporated milk. I add my evaporated milk to the mixture and I stir. You see that consistency? Lovely. That's how you make a good Tobago chocolate tea. Delicious. Thank you for allowing me to take you to Tobago. Look out for another feature, and remember, Tobago awaits your return.
Hi, good day. This is Tropicus. My name is Anthony. I'm here to guide you through a drink called Sunkist Tropicus. This is our specialty, our personal specialty at this hotel. So let's get this on the road. First, we'll start off with a rum. This is a rum punch, by the way, which is known throughout the Caribbean. But this is our, this is like I said, this is our specialty. We have a little twist in it. So I'm gonna start off with the Carrera's punching. Carrera's gold rum. Also, Carrera's white rum, regular, right? Well, this is a very strong drink, so we put in a bunch of liqueurs behind it as well. This is triple sec. Creme de banana. Peach snaps, which is known as well. I'm gonna add a bit of grenadine, just to give it an extra sweet taste. Some orange juice. I'll be putting like about 3 ounces. Right. And to top it off, pineapple. Right? So let's do this. We're gonna shake it in. Right? Let's put some ice in the glass now. All right, so this is the drink right here. Garnish with pineapple and cherry. Okay? And the cherries. So now, this is your Sunkist Tropicus.
Oh wow! Lots of love I see in the chat box for the cocktail and everything. I made myself a rum punch during that little interlude, but I didn't put all that alcohol in that he did. This is just a simple rum punch, but yeah, I had to have something. That looks so good. And somebody says Angostura bitters are from Trinidad and Tobago. I didn't know that. And somebody complaining that he diluted it with orange juice. Well, you got to get your vitamins from somewhere, don't you? You know, you don't have to put a lot of orange juice in, I'm sure. So no, somebody said they wouldn't be able to stand after that cocktail. Yeah, you can see I nearly made it myself before this event, and I thought, no, when I saw what was in it, I thought if I make it, I won't be able to talk. So
That's me.
It's that looked epic, really, really good. But the cocoa tea I'm looking forward to making as well. And I know that Nadine, yeah, cheers.
Have a very useful son in the house.
Yeah, very useful. Cheers. Oh dear, Sheena, you're the only one. You haven't got anything.
I know.
After this.
Oh, it's good. It tastes really of the Caribbean.
Yeah. And with the cocoa tea, somebody says, here's me with a screwdriver feeling jealous. Well, yeah. But no, I mean, certainly, like I say, this is just a simple rum punch and it's absolutely gorgeous. So, yeah, really, really transporting me there. And yeah, so no, I think we're all enjoying that. Just to touch on the cocoa tea again, because looking at the recipe for that, well, of course, in the film, she talked about using condensed milk and evaporated milk, which of course you can do. But I know somebody who said they've made it with coconut milk. And of course, I think in the recipe we've given, it can be full cream milk, or of course it could be presumably a plant milk of some sort. So whatever sort of milk takes your fancy. But I would say I was told you should.
Yeah. Almond milk or coconut. Yeah.
Or coconut. Yeah, exactly. So no, that all looked really good. Right, we've got lots of questions. So, what's it like for a solo traveler? Because we saw obviously the couples, very glamorous couple, going, and we've said how romantic it is, but obviously all that romance is no good if you're traveling solo. So what's Tobago like if you're traveling solo? Is it suitable? And I've got any tips?
I'm going to take that one because I have spent some time in Tobago on my own, both sort of on business trips and on my own holiday as well, and it just feels so safe. You know, I mentioned earlier about you getting to know people. They very quickly get to know you. People look out for you, and they're aware of you, but they leave you to your own devices as well. One of the ways that I would really recommend to get around is to hire a private guide, because then you will get so much more out of your trip and learn so much more. But then you feel safe and know that you'll be picked up from your front door of wherever you're staying and dropped off again. And have a fully enriching experience. A friend of mine, she was there on her own for a week or so, and one of her best experiences was just hiring a private mountain bike guide, and then he was able to also tailor her mountain biking excursion to her abilities, and stop when she wanted to stop and so on. Yeah. So absolutely, I would totally recommend it for solos.
Yeah. Oh, well, we always at Wanderlust recommend guides, because they enhance trips so much. It's the best way to really understand, isn't it? And get to see the best of somewhere. But then we've also got people asking about holidays with children. So is there any tips there? Like, are there specific areas to go or anything that we would recommend there?
Yeah.
Well, I think.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Go on, Sheena. Sorry.
Sorry. No, I mean all of the hotels. Go on, Sheena. Yeah, you talk about it.
No, I'm saying, Nadine, you can talk about the hotels a lot because as a mom, I'm not a mom. I think you would have specific things that you look for. But I do have nieces and nephews, and we do have outdoor activities. I saw someone asking about horses. You can do horseback riding with the kids. It's a really great activity for kids because you get to learn about being empathetic and understanding animals. So they walk you through the whole process. We have our own version of a zoo. It's Corbin's Local Wildlife. So you get to see all the local animals and learn all about your local animals in a contained environment. There are quite a few beaches on the western side of the island or the Caribbean side of the island that are very calm for kids. There's one beach in Black Rock we call a pond because it's so shallow. And because it has sort of a rock formation, you have all these pretty fishes in a shallow area that the kids can see. It's one of those beaches that a lot of parents like to take their kids to. But the resorts as well in the west are very much configured for kids. Crown Point Beach Hotel, Magdalena Grand Beach Resort, Mount Sullivan Beach Resort. They have kids clubs and they will have kids menus that you can, make sure that your kids have whatever they need. And quite a few of the restaurants have kid-friendly menus. So yeah, there is quite a lot. It's definitely not for the mom that wants to be in a bubble. It's for the mom who wants to take the kids out and learn a lot and interact with the environment. So, I've been to the waterfall in Castara and I would not carry a kid, but I remember seeing a mom hiking with a backpack and her kid, and they were just frolicking, having a good time because the birds were there because they have feeders along the walk path. And they were in the waterfall looking at the fishes and the birds, and they were having such an amazing time. So it's not necessarily a destination where, as I said, it's an all-inclusive resort where you have everything tailor-made for your kids, because you do have to go out and interact with the environment. So it's definitely a great place for kids to learn and become immerse themselves in an experience.
Oh, no, sounds it. And Joy has recommended doing boat trips and the beautiful waters of Pigeon Point. Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Nadine, have you got anything to add?
I think, the water is a very important part of it. So, from very sort of tame glass bottom boat ride out to that nylon pool, where, of course, you've seen how shallow the water is. It's great fun for frolicking around with the family. You can even do it at nighttime. I went out with Sheena and all the team from Tobago Tourism Agency at nighttime and just floated on the surface of the water and looked at the stars, with no light pollution. Stand-up paddleboarding and bioluminescence as well. There's a lagoon that you can go to at night time, and you can kayak there or stand up paddleboard there and see the bioluminescence in the water, what an amazing experience for family.
Oh, that would be amazing. Gosh. Right, there's still so many comments coming in about rum and rum punches. It doesn't count for your 5 a day, yeah.
I was saying an interesting thing to note, the rum that was used in that cocktail is 75% alcohol. It's one of the strongest rums in the Caribbean. So when we had it, 3 of us had to drink it. So be careful.
Yeah, be careful, definitely.
It's a creeper.
Oh, God. Right, go back to solo travellers. Somebody's asked, are there group day trips that one can join? Do day trips run?
Definitely, yes. There are plenty of companies on the island, small locally run companies, and so any wherever you're staying, a hotel, a guest house, B&B, they'll connect you with either group tours or put you together with a guide. Just whatever your needs, there'll be someone locally that can assist.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And somebody's asking, saying that we haven't mentioned about historical aspects of Tobago and that there are some interesting sites. And also somebody's mentioned the Tobago Heritage Festival. So, so Sheena, can you just give us a very quick idea perhaps of some of the historical sites?
Yeah, Tobago has a very diverse history. We changed hands over 33 times, the most in the Caribbean. I saw someone mention they saw some Scottish names. So yes, we have French, Dutch, Spanish. We have so much European influence. So, and that is still remaining today. So we have quite a few forts, and the forts are still very well maintained. So you can take a tour around it. We have a museum where you can get a really great history of Tobago. And there are quite a few tour guides as well that are very keen on, Tobago's history, that they can take you around and show you all the sites and attractions relating to our story and where we're at today. And folklore is such a huge part of who we are. So that's where the Heritage Festival comes in, because obviously we have Africans in Tobago, and it's really hinged on our African influence. And the Heritage Festival looks at, how we used to live and how it made us what we are today. And food is such a huge part of that, because, as I said, we change hands 33 times. So that amalgamation of influence really makes our food and our festivals interesting. And Heritage Festival basically celebrates that. It's a month-long celebration where you learn dances, you learn to drum, there are plays and skits, and it moves around the whole island. So each village usually puts on a production. So my village usually puts on a production with the old-time wedding. So it's a reenactment of how they got married back in the days. So yeah, it's a procession through the village, and everyone can join in and dance. And other villages do a drumming festival. Some have a fishing festival, and it's all under the umbrella of the Heritage Festival. So if you are definitely interested in heritage and culture, Heritage Festival is definitely one of those that you can't miss, because it really brings the island to life,
So when is it?
It's usually July, August. It starts at the end of July, or the beginning of July most of the times, or end depending on how the calendar falls, and goes straight into August.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds fascinating. And talking of festivals, did I see a mention somewhere of Harvest Festival?
Yeah. So Harvest Festival is one of those things that people do not grasp. So basically it has roots in our religious background. So, once the church, at the end of the month, they would celebrate the harvest, because we are known for our produce. So they will come together and celebrate, the harvest that they pulled in with all the produce. And during that process, they would share what they have harvested. And as it stands now, it has maintained throughout generations. So the whole community will have a Sunday that they just open their houses to anyone who wants to eat and drink. And it's usually a big party. So you can literally walk in as a stranger and leave as a friend. I remember when my colleagues came, they could not understand it. Some of my colleagues from the Caribbean, they were like, you could just walk into the person's house. I'm like, yeah, it's harvest. It's literally a celebration of, what we are and our produce. So they cook a lot of Creole food. So you have the curries and the stews and a lot of rum as well, and music. So it starts off with a church celebration, and then it goes throughout the day with everyone eating and drinking. And as I said, it goes from community to community every Sunday.
Sounds brilliant.
Yeah.
And just while we are on festivals, we'll go on to something else in a minute, but somebody's asking, is Carnival a big thing on Tobago?
I mean, it's not as big as Trinidad, for sure. Trinidad is sort of the Carnival central. Tobago has a very laid-back approach to Carnival, and it's more community-based. So a lot of the Carnival experiences, again, just like Heritage Festival, is centered around the community. So they make the costumes. The villagers usually participate in the parade. The songs are written locally. And, we have something called Mud Mass, which is distinctly different to what Trinidad has to offer. So it's basically where you paint your entire skin in mud and you just parade on the streets and have a great time. So that is definitely different, and we have obviously all the characters, like we have the devils, the blue devils and the black devils, and they all have some historical relevance. So Carnival has its roots in parading, So Tobago's Carnival is a little more low-key and community-based, and definitely something you can immerse yourself in. Trinidad is a production, you have to put effort.
Sounds it.
Yeah.
Oh, what's not to like? Gosh.
Yeah.
Nadine, a couple of questions for you. So for a first-time visitor, what would you recommend as a length of trip? Would it be a week? Would it be 2 weeks?
Yeah, well, I mean, at least a week. There's no doubt about that. But you could easily fill 10 days to 2 weeks. Depending on what kind of a holiday you like to have. But if you want to, really relax and get into the chilled, laid back atmosphere, give yourself time to just enjoy the beach and the natural environment, and then plan a wide variety of excursions, and pick a location and go and visit, go to the waterfalls and the cocoa estate perhaps one day, and then do a rainforest hike another day. So you could very easily fill a 2-week holiday.
Okay. And is it okay for LGBT travellers?
It's a subject which is still taboo across the whole Caribbean, but Trinidad and Tobago are very broad-minded and welcoming, and will treat people with discretion and fairness and equality. So yes, I would say It's not something, again, I think people do understand that throughout the Caribbean, it's not something that you would necessarily be very, very open about, but all people are welcome.
Yeah, mainly because of the legalities, because it's not legal just yet. So there is, a bit of evolution and development that needs to happen in terms of LBGT rights. But I mean, we do treat people very well when they come. They just have to be cognizant of that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And Sheena, somebody says they're sorry to ask the boring question, but is there a vaccine rollout? And
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
It's going to start in March. We actually had the frontline workers being vaccinated, and then we're going to have the rest of the population at the end of March being vaccinated. So yes, there is a rollout plan for the vaccination.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody asked about, can they take a side trip to Trinidad? I mean, is it a day trip you can do?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think Nadine has done a few, so from her perspective, it'd be good for her to share it.
Yeah, I mean, there is an air bridge. It's described as an air bridge on Caribbean Airlines, and there are flights throughout the day between Trinidad and Tobago, and there's also a fast ferry early in the morning between the two islands. And it's definitely something that's very interesting. Somebody asked about the bird sanctuary being closed, and it's important to understand that is referring to the Asa Wright bird sanctuary, which is in Trinidad, and which for the birders is a sort of the holy grail of bird watching, because there are some very, very rare bird species there. Unfortunately, it is closed at the moment, but the Trinidad and Tobago government is looking at its fortunes. It's really only the sort of the hotel bit that's closed. The sanctuary is obviously still a sanctuary, and there's still all the usual conservation work going on there. So Trinidad has got some really fascinating trips that you can do, and it could be worth staying 1 or 2 nights over there and then come back to Tobago and chill out, because Trinidad's much bigger, much more densely populated, much more hubbub and fast paced in the city. Great fun to visit, but it's so nice to go back to Tobago afterwards.
Afterwards, yeah. Because what is the population? I'm not sure if we asked that or not, but what is the population of the island?
Well, the total population of Trinidad and Tobago is 1.3 million, but Tobago is 60,000.
Oh, that's wonderful, isn't it? I mean, that's just so nice. So nice. No wonder there's.
And it shows you the relationship between the two islands as well. Very, very different.
How
Trinidad
different
is a very
they
different
are.
place.
Yeah. Somebody saying how they're loving this webinar. It's on fire. I wonder if they're drinking the rum, because I think definitely the people who are drinking rum along with it are definitely enjoying it. Anyway, we are running out of time, so just to stress again, because a couple more people asking about, they missed the start of it. We will be sharing a recording of this evening. We will be doing a follow-up email with a link to the recording, and we will also have some of the most common questions, and we'll have a link again to the recipe for the rum cocktail, the very powerful, it wasn't just rum cocktail, and also for the cocoa tea. Right, so we are going to have to wrap up in a minute, so many thanks to Sheena and Nadine, but before we all go, let's just have another quick poll. So following this really interesting hour, what do we now want to do about going to Tobago? Do we want to go? I know what my answer is. 100%, yes. Well, I'm not surprised. It's been such good fun, and it's a shame we really do need to wrap up in a minute. So Nadine and Sheena, thank you so much for your knowledge, and that has been so interesting and so much fun. And it was a delight, Sheena, that you could actually join us live from Tobago, because that's got us all so jealous. So thank you everybody who tuned in tonight. Look out for that follow-up email, and I think quite a few of us are going to be visiting Tobago in the next year or two. So anyway, but thank you all for joining us, and big thank you to Nadine and Sheena. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, everyone.
Cheers.
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 Bye.
Bye.
Night.